With the rise of Fortnite Battle Royale,
So right now we're reacting to we're OG Fortnite YouTubers now. This is probably gonna bring back a bunch of memories that I didn't even remember I had. And maybe you too if you're watching this.
in 2017, we saw several content creators who had exploded in popularity, basically taking over the internet. However, while some of them are still around today, many of them have been completely forgotten or had even disappeared entirely. Starting with probably the most massive YouTuber in Fortnite history, we got Ninja, who is kind of in a weird place right now. Tyler Blevins, also known as Ninja, began posting on YouTube back in 2011. He would actually start by playing Halo competitively for a few years, until eventually he stumbled across a new genre that y'all might have heard of called Battle Royale. With games like H1Z1 and PUBG releasing, he would start to blow up as a content creator, reaching like 10,000 viewers at a time on Twitch, mainly due to the crazy records and gameplay that he was streaming at the time.
Oh, fuck you.
The fuck you say to me, you little
However, while he was already doing great, he had barely even gained a fraction of the fame that he was about to receive. With Fortnite releasing on September 26 of 2017, this game would change the course of not only his career, but his entire life. Around the release of Fortnite, he was sitting at around 500,000 followers. Fast forward to March of 2018, he was now at
Bro, I feel like if like that OG Fortnite were to like drop now, like that I'm like the age I am right now, like I feel like I would be so like famous right now. Like you know how crazy I would be? Cause it's like when you a little kid, you can't really be that good at a game. I mean now you can, but back then, no 7-year-old was going crazy like that. Season 1, Season 2 of Fortnite. Now they are. Like
3.7
crazy,
million
bro.
followers, gaining over 3 million of them in just 5 months. Not only was he on top of live streaming and gaming content on YouTube, a lot of people even considered him the best Fortnite player at the time. Later in the month, we would get blessed with what was probably one of the craziest moments in live streaming history. And this
Look, it was like Ninja, Ali, Typical Gamer. That was like my top 3. Who else? Lachlan. With Cypher? I guess. It was so many.
would be the Ninja and Drake collab stream.
I'm like 99.9% sure we are about to break Twitch.
5K don't know if you get this dub, Ninja. You hear me? Oh my god.
With this stream, he had broken the individual streamer viewer record at over 628,000 concurrent viewers. I mean, nowadays you got Kai Cenat who's doing like a Kevin Hart stream on a Monday and then a Michael Jackson collab on a Tuesday. But back then, seeing someone like Drake on a live stream with some basically random streamer was pretty crazy at the time. And this kind of brought the world of live streaming into the mainstream thanks to Ninja.
Gigi, you got band-aids?
Daquan too. I used to watch so much Daquan.
Bandits?
So
1 year after Fortnite's release, he had gone from 500,000 followers to almost 12 million. And on YouTube, he was now sitting at over 18 million subscribers. At this point, he had pretty much gone from just being some random Fortnite streamer to an entire celebrity. However, at some point, things eventually did start to plateau. As Fortnite evolved, so did its player base. I mean, this was around the time where you could just look at someone and they'd start building skyscrapers. This also meant that you had players and creators like Tfue who were kind of taking the spotlight away from Ninja. And over time, Ninja wasn't really known as the best Fortnite player anymore. Now, the biggest thing that probably contributed to his downfall the most was when he signed a deal in 2019 to switch from streaming on Twitch to only Mixer alone. Now, I will say this was like a $30 million deal, but the downside was that he pretty much lost his entire audience after switching. In 2018, he was averaging over 70,000 concurrent viewers, and after switching to Mixer, he was only averaging under 8,000 viewers. I mean, the overall viewership on Mixer was so bad that in less than a year after signing Ninja, the platform had been shut down entirely. Since returning to Twitch after Mixer's fail, his viewership was about the same as it was on Mixer, but over time it slowly started to dwindle down. And there was a couple moments where he kind of did start to make a comeback actually, mainly because of the memes that started to blow up on the internet.
That low taper fade, like, meme is, dude, it is still massive. Yeah.
Bro, I remember he was swearing he got like a low taper fade after that. He never got a low taper. He got like a ball fade or something.
I'm not gonna lie though, he's kind of low-key been ruining his reputation on the internet recently. I don't know what it is, but there's been like multiple times where he's just randomly taking shots at other streamers.
Kai's pulling 30K right now because he's sleeping, dog. Every time he wakes up and he actually starts playing Elden Ring, he's pulling anywhere from 90 to 100K. He does what I could have done if I just stayed home and streamed and didn't go to Mixer or anything like that. Congratulations to Kai for beating my record. As of October 2023, Twitch streamer iBuy holds the record for most concurrent viewers on a Twitch stream with 3.44 million.
Here's the thing with Ninja, bro. If you guys go back to the clips of every time where I broke a record or every time where I passed quote-unquote Ninja, he's always backhanded complimenting me, bro. He's always like, congrats to him, but this happened.
Now, I'm not sure if he's just joking around or not, but yeah. At the same time, the decline of Fortnite's popularity obviously didn't help too much either. But let's be real right now. If Ninja never started up a stream again, this guy is so rich that if I had just like 0.01% of his income, I could probably retire my entire family. So I think he'll be fine. However, if y'all do want to support my dream of getting 0.01% of Ninja's income, then feel free to drop a sub. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, by the way, if any of y'all are serious content creators of any size, I've been working on building this community called Creator Cave to help other YouTubers. I'm not even going to explain it here. Just go check it out. Link below. But yeah, let's get back into the video. Now, another Fortnite creator and player who I'm sure y'all probably all have heard of would be Tfue. Tfue originally started his current channel by posting random
Yo, nah, I remember probably about like 7 or 6 months ago, like I had randomly had this little like I was trying to get into surfing, and Tfue, like I seen Tfue, like he knows how to surf, like he's pretty good at surfing. So yeah, he's really just living his life, no worries. He has a girlfriend now, just surfing his life away on the beach of wherever, California.
games like Call of Duty and especially Destiny for a long period of time. Much like the other battle royale creators at the time, he would also start to play H1Z1. Fun fact, he was actually rivals with Ninja back then.
Oh, he's doing the fucking dude. That is literally, dude, the definition of a nerdy play, man.
Fast forward a bit, it wasn't until actually a little bit after Fortnite's release that he would upload his very first Fortnite video onto the channel. And yeah, as you can see by the title of the video, he was cracked at the game.
Not bad, but we could do a lot better.
Just a few months later, after his very first Fortnite upload, he had already been invited to none other than FaZe Clan, while only having 70,000 viewers at the time. Because of this, and also the fact that he was pretty much one of the best Fortnite players in the world, if not the best, this had skyrocketed his popularity to the point where people were putting his name next to Ninja when debating who was actually the greatest player in Fortnite. Side note, one time I accidentally joined a lobby he was in during the Fortnite Friday event and then got blasted by Tfue, so I can confirm he might actually be the GOAT.
Okay, my game, John Wick, swordy ass fucking builders, fucking pussy ass motherfucker.
Not even a month later after being signed to FaZe, he had gone from not even 100,000 subscribers all the way to nearly 1 million subscribers. And just 1 year after that, he had reached over 10 million. During this time, he was at his peak in both competitive Fortnite and content creation as a whole. I mean, this guy was getting millions of views every single video, and at some point had actually passed Ninja as the most watched Fortnite streamer. However, while things seemed like they were going great at the time, that was not exactly the case. On May 22nd of 2019, Tfue had uploaded a video titled "My Response #Release the Contract." In the video, he explains that he was getting ripped off by FaZe Clan and wanted them to release their contract to the public so that way people could see the full details. The video was uploaded 2 days after Tfue had sued FaZe Clan for these unfair business practices, as well as encouraging illegal gambling and underage drinking. FaZe Banks, who was actually the CEO of FaZe Clan, actually made a response back to Tfue, basically saying that everything was a lie and that he even tried negotiating with Tfue. After all the back and forth though, there was still no contract released. A little more than a year later, on August 26th of 2020, Tfue and FaZe Clan had settled their lawsuit, putting an end to the whole drama. However, we still don't really know what actually happened, and even to this day, he still won't speak on it.
I don't know. I just kind of we just kind of moved on. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with all those guys. I mean, there's no bad blood there. What'd you guys settle for? In the lawsuit? No comment.
From this point on, Tfue had experimented with some other games after leaving Fortnite for a bit. He even made a return back to Fortnite for a while, but overall his popularity was slowly starting to fade out until June 20th of 2023, where he announced that he would be retiring from content creation. Okay, so that was a lie. 6 months later, Tfue had returned to YouTube, basically uploading whatever he wants, and honestly, it's not doing too bad. As far as what he's up to now, he pretty much summed it up in a recent interview with Logan Paul.
It's weird. I'm like living like an old retired Florida person right now. I'm like golfing and fishing. Like I might as well throw bingo in there a little bit.
But yeah, honestly, it really just seems like
See, I told you.
Tfue's just been chilling and living like he's retired. So while Ninja and Tfue are still active today and just kind of fell off in popularity, there were some huge Fortnite creators who had reached pretty much the peak of their careers and then was like, yeah, I'm gonna vanish from the face of the fucking earth. One of these YouTubers was Fearless, who was actually one of the biggest Fortnite YouTubers ever, until one day he had just completely disappeared from the internet with rumors about him not being alive anymore, but I'll get into that in a bit. Much like these other YouTubers, Fearless had also started out by posting other games, and he had actually gotten a pretty decent following playing Call Call of Duty at first. And of course, once Fortnite blew up, you guessed it, his channel did as well. He wasn't necessarily known to be the greatest Fortnite player at the time like a lot of other creators who were blowing up, but he quickly became the go-to creator if you wanted to watch Fortnite content centered around entertainment. Before posting Fortnite, he was averaging less than 100,000 views a video, and within a year, he was now averaging tens of millions of views, with his most recent videos averaging 30 to 60 million every single video. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't think there's ever been a Fortnite creator who has ever consistently pulled that amount of views. And at the same time, he was also doing this completely anonymously, with no one actually knowing what he really looked like, except for one image floating around, but I'll get into that in a bit. Now, while he was doing amazing things, unfortunately,
How do you stay that low key? Like, did his family even know that he was fearless? That's interesting.
started to take a turn. It started to become less frequent, with people starting to joke around about him not being alive anymore.
I've just gotta say, if y'all watch Fearless, he died. He was at the hospital and he died because of this infection. Subscribe and hit that like button if you miss it.
And while it was a joke at first, Fearless had then uploaded his final ever video, completely abandoning his audience and actually leading people to think that he was no longer with us anymore. People were starting to get worried, with actual rumors about him passing away starting to come out. However, eventually people started to look around and actually found some interesting clues as to what might have actually happened to him. First of all, there were at least a few minor clues that at least proved that he was alive at least. The first being that people noticed he had randomly changed his profile picture on TikTok. The second being that he had updated his name on YouTube once the username ads feature had came out. The third being some changes to his playlist that were found on his channel, which, like, dude, I don't even know how people noticed that. And then probably the most important clue would be when some kid had uploaded a video onto YouTube of both him and Fearless playing Fortnite together.
Well,
GG.
nice playing with you.
You too, bro. Good luck on your YouTube channel.
So yeah, I think it's safe to say that he's probably still alive. However, there were a couple moments where he had kind of given some insight into his personal life, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of had people worried. In November of 2020, a fan had commented on Fearless's TikTok, jokingly asking, "So when's your next vacation?" Fearless then responds, "Vacation LOLOL. I wish this was a vacation. If only you knew my life, bro." Another interesting clue that came along was a little bit before, actually, on June 20th of 2020, where Fearless had done a short live stream on a second channel playing a little bit of Fortnite. Towards the end of the stream, though, he had actually given some hints into his personal life.
I don't know. It's weird. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. All right. YouTube. Nah. I don't want to get into it. Why I haven't been uploading stuff, but it's personal. I mean, a little bit. And then more. Another thing is, just like, what matters is I'm gonna upload soon.
So yeah, from the brief amount of information that he has shared, it seems like the guy's just been going through some personal stuff. At this point, that was really all the information that we had until one YouTuber named...
Dang. Fearless is definitely the most, like, questionable, because it's like, I don't know.
Calyx had came in clutch and actually discovered some pretty crazy information. Going back to that live stream I just mentioned, there was a split second where Fearless had accidentally shown his Fortnite friends list. Now this dude Calyx had went full detective mode, and after doing some digging around, he was actually able to get in contact with one of the people from the friends list, which ultimately had led to probably the most amount of information that we had gotten yet. It turns out that this random guy had actually known Fearless in real life, and
whoa, we got Sherlock Holmes over here.
Even backed it up with proof, as well as sharing videos of them playing together. He even confirmed that the picture going around that I mentioned earlier was actually him. Now finally, Calyx had asked him the question that we had all been waiting for: is Fearless ever going to come back? And I'm not gonna lie, we really didn't get a straight answer. To me, it honestly seems like it was probably just him burning out, as well as a mix with like life issues or something. There is another video out there where a fan had gone into another match with him, and he actually gives some more evidence that he probably was just burnt out.
You quit Fortnite?
Yeah, I quit YouTube, not Fortnite.
Why? It was too stressful?
Something like that. I didn't quit, I haven't been getting any good footage for a video.
Oh, really?
Like, footage I'm actually happy with, yeah. Like, I don't know, I could upload, but the video would be like trash.
Recently, there's been clips going around that claim to have Fearless in the videos, but I'm pretty sure it's an AI voiceover and not actually him.
I'm dead! I'm dead, brother. Why is everybody so sweaty?
However, either way, we at the very least know that this guy is still alive. Similar to Fearless, another YouTuber who had reached a crazy amount of success and then randomly disappeared was C-Day. Now, I don't know what it is about all these Fortnite YouTubers, but literally nearly every single one of them started out by posting Destiny. With C-Day, it was actually the main game that he played for a while until he eventually got tired of the game. However, once he started posting Fortnite videos, things had started to go uphill when he had went from around 100,000 subscribers towards the beginning all the way to over 2 million in just a couple months. And I mean, it was definitely deserved because in my opinion, C-Day had to have been the greatest.
No, see, I didn't watch much C-Day, so I didn't really know too much.
Of all time at Fortnite Entertainment. His videos were in a way kind of similar to what Fearless was doing, and funny enough, just like Fearless, he would also vanish from the face of the internet, kind of at least. After uploading pretty consistently for a while, he would start to have these random disappearances. The first of these happened when C-Day decided to cryptically black out his entire channel for multiple weeks, while disappearing at the same time with absolutely no explanation at all. Whenever people do stuff like that, it's usually not a very good sign.
You see, here C-Day quit YouTube. I'm just gonna black out his banner and profile pic. I don't really think that means it, other than there might be something wrong.
But this dude had came back after all that and said that he was trying to revamp his channel art. Meanwhile, he had people thinking that he was quitting forever or even died because he wasn't uploading for a few weeks. However, unfortunately for the C-Day fan base, it was only going to get worse from here. Soon he would continue to start randomly disappearing for longer periods of time until eventually he had left for 2 years and then dropped the video like nothing happened.
You know, it's not easy to explain a nearly 2-year absence.
After his return, it turns out that this would be the last video on his channel, which was over 2 years ago now at this point. Unlike Fearless though, he actually did give us an explanation as to why these disappearances have happened.
There was one point where, like, every other week, a different part of the world was literally on fire. And then there was the BLM/Civil War arc. And I don't know about y'all, but while the world is literally ending in front of us, the last thing on my mind is, hey yo, when am I gonna drop this new Fortnite video? The state of the game, plus what was happening with the world at the time, it was the perfect shitstorm to keep me from coming back to YouTube. And obviously that wasn't all of it. It was apparent I was falling out of love with YouTube and making videos and stuff like that. After doing something, well, like literally the same thing for that long, it gets repetitive and it loses that thing that made it fun in the beginning.
The only updates we've had from C-Day is when he posted a now deleted video showing a promotional OG Fortnite package that was sent to him by Epic Games. Apparently people looked at his profile on like a Fortnite tracker website and saw that he had reached Unreal back in OG Fortnite, and he's been spotted playing the game since then. It's also kind of funny seeing people speculate about him as well.
I'm not gonna lie, bro, I'm starting to think that C-Day was a social experiment made by the government to see if their early versions of AI can have the younger generation be entertained.
But yeah, honestly, it seems like he really just got burnt out of posting YouTube videos, and I would not be surprised if he's just chilling somewhere on an island sitting on top of his AdSense money. Besides YouTubers who have just randomly disappeared, there's also been quite a few Fortnite creators who you might have remembered from back then, but are almost completely forgotten now, even if they are still posting to this day. You might remember people like Dr. Lupo, Dakotas, CDN the Third, High Distortion, and a lot of other Fortnite creators who were on top of the game back then. But if you look at their channels now, most of these people who are still active only average like a few thousand views now per video, with some of them even just completely moving on from YouTube. I will say though that just because someone's YouTube career falls off, that definitely does not mean that they weren't successful. Pretty much 99% of YouTubers are going to fall off at some point, but it's at least kind of cool to see that they're still kicking it today. Now lastly, I want to talk about a group of creators who were part of probably the most well-known and iconic team during OG Fortnite.
Hey Juan, brother.
And this would be TSM. Originally, the team started with Myth, who was known to be one of the best Fortnite players at the time. I mean, he was pretty much the pioneer of people becoming cracked at building inside of the game.
What the fuck? He keeps building higher. Stop building so fucking high! Stop it! He kept building up and building up and building up, and I couldn't catch him.
Whenever he first started streaming Fortnite, he barely had anyone who was actually watching. But after people saw how insane he was at the game, this dude started to blow up. Not long after blowing up, he was signed to TSM as Fortnite's first ever pro player. And from that point on, pretty big things were about to happen. Myth had been tasked with finding 3 other Fortnite players to join the team, where he would choose Hamlins, Camille's, and Daquan. Not only were they amazing Fortnite players, but they were also creators as well, which helped bring attention to the whole team. However, there was one issue that had started to become a big deal over time. Each member of the team, and especially Myth, had pretty much been hyped up to be the greatest Fortnite player of all time. I mean, Daquan had gotten like 40 kills in one game.
Sheesh.
The problem is though is that everyone on the team had really only ever been able to play against randoms in a public lobby and not against other actual pro players. However, at some point it was announced that Fortnite would be doing a $50,000 charity tournament where some of Fortnite's top players would all compete against each other, and unfortunately for Myth, who was one of those competitors, things did not turn out so well for him. Around this time there was a huge debate going around about whether Ninja or Myth was the better Fortnite player, and with nearly 700,000 people watching, this tournament would pretty much give the answer to that question.
I got the early game, I was gonna play the high ground early, and then, but yeah, so
So yeah, it turns out Myth wasn't actually the greatest Fortnite player. For a little while though, things were actually still going up for Myth and the rest of the team. In May of 2018, the group had moved into the brand new TSM Fortnite house, where they would be able to get some practice in for the game, as well as some more content. Around this time was pretty much the peak of their popularity, with Camille's averaging over 2,000 viewers, Hamlin's averaging over 12,000, Daquan averaging nearly 30,000, and Myth at nearly 40,000. Unfortunately though, this hype would not last forever. Over time, while the rest of the team kept practicing, one of the members, Camille's, had started to fall behind the rest of the team, eventually leading to him being benched and forced to move back home. People say it was out of his own will, but I honestly really don't know.
Build up, brother. Oh my god, no.
From this point on, the goals between them were starting to change. Myth wanted to keep practicing and improving at the game, while the other members wanted to focus more on the entertainment side of things.
I was really driven to play competitively, and like it came to a point where we had to like sit down and have a talk, and they were just like, yeah, like we just want to be content creators, really. Me being young and who I was like, fuck, man, I wish they would have told me sooner. And I kind of like resented them for that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it had gone to the point where Myth had been the only one showing up to a major tournament, with Daquan and Hamlin's being nowhere to be seen. And unfortunately for Myth, he still did not perform too well. So yeah, after all this, TSM's Fortnite team would start to exit their prime and enter the start of their downfall. Part of the reason that they had gone so popular in the first place was because they were considered some of the best Fortnite players at first. But over time, more people started learning the game and becoming better at it, which made it harder for them to stand out. A lot of people expressed their disappointment with the team, which undoubtedly led to people losing interest as well, with both Hamlin's and Daquan sharing about how they were struggling with mental health. Over time, Hamlin's would start to stream less and less, before taking a hiatus from 2020 to 2021, basically out of nowhere. He did eventually return for a brief amount of time, but as far as I'm aware,
I don't know you, gang.
Just like Hamlin's, he was also streaming less and less and constantly making random disappearances. On top of him struggling with mental health,
yeah, I heard he got sick,
and the death of people close to him, he was also having physical health problems, specifically with his stomach, which apparently was a major cause for the lack of streams.
Y'all know I was also sick for like 5-6 years, you know what I mean? From 19 to pretty much 26, you know what I mean? And on top of that, I had those lung collapses, which also prevented me from doing what I wanted to do.
To make things even worse, he had mentioned that his girlfriend contracted E. coli from eating at a restaurant, which led to her being in life-threatening conditions. And during this whole time, you got people on Reddit talking about how he doesn't care about his fans because he doesn't stream anymore. After a very long disappearance, he did make a return in 2021 and 2022, joining the NRG house with Hamlin's. However, shortly after, it ended up falling apart, with both—
Bro, I remember back in the day, bro. Man, Daquan was so cool. Like, and I remember like he has like that TikTok where he was dancing in that galaxy suit.
His final ever stream and final appearance on the internet being on February 10th that same year. And since then, literally no one has any idea where he is.
Daquan is not gonna answer the phone chat. I have already had Hamlin's hang up on me. Let it go. It's over. I called him. I tried, and I tried. We made tweet after tweet after tweet, but they just don't fuck with me no more.
As far as Myth, he's the only person from the group who is still active today, even though he isn't as popular as he once was. After his peak viewership back in 2018, the competition coming from other Fortnite players and creators like Tfue seemed to have a direct impact on Myth's viewership. Just after the start of his decline, he was also experimenting, trying to play other games on stream as well. While doing variety content could have helped him as far as longevity outside of Fortnite, unfortunately, the games that he was playing didn't really resonate with his current audience, causing even more of a decline. There actually was a couple moments where he had revived his popularity momentarily, like when Warzone came out and especially when Valorant came out, where he had peaked at over 122,000 concurrent viewers, even breaking his record of max viewers all the way back in Fortnite. Unfortunately though, besides those couple moments, his popularity still continued to decline overall, despite even signing a contract with YouTube to stream only on their platform. I mean, there were streams where he was sitting at like 50 to 60 viewers, which is kind of crazy to think about considering he was like the second biggest streamer in the world at one point. Fast forward to now, he's been streaming on on Twitch once again, and it seems like he's actually been doing pretty decent compared to what he was pulling back on YouTube. Right now, he's pretty much just doing whatever he wants to though, so I mean, honestly, that's pretty respectable. However, I could definitely see him making a comeback at some point if he even wanted to, especially if he just sticks with something that he enjoys and then people enjoy watching as well. Let me know which OG Fortnite creators y'all watch though, because I'm honestly pretty curious. By the way, I've also been doing...
Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out.
All right now.